Okay, we're going.
All right, welcome. It's March 18th, and this is the regular District 21 Board of Commissioners meeting. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 1:01 p.m. and start with a roll call. Bruce Ansel.
John Crawford.
Rich
Scott Fisher.
Kimberly McMurray.
Jason Vanderveen.
All right, thank you. Our first item is to start the Volunteer Pension Board meeting. So I'll open that meeting, and I need a motion to approve the February 18th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. 2020 volunteer participation, Chief.
Yes, sir. That is a form that we turn into the state annually that outlines whether volunteers for last year met the training requirements. It's like I said, it's an annual document, and just need a motion to pass that we can sign and send that in.
So is there a motion to approve the 2020 volunteer participation roster?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Any other items before the Volunteer Pension Board? Hearing and seeing none. Chief, anything else for the Pension Board?
No, sir.
I will move to adjourn the Pension Board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned 1:03 p.m. We'll open the regular Board of Commissioners meeting at 1:03 p.m. The first item is the approval of the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the meeting minutes from February 18th and the special meeting of February 25th, staff reports, financial reports, voucher, payroll, benefits. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I will read in the revenue and expenditures. The total revenue for February, $672,165.45. March expenditures, $1,118,829.02. The employee direct deposit payroll, $329,235.04. Payroll taxes, $67,761.50. The benefits vouchers, $214,356.05. Monthly expenditure voucher, $120,957.53. Capital projects apparatus, $386,518.90. If there is no discussion, anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Commissioner meeting reports. Anyone have any commissioner meetings they attended?
Yeah. So I attended the all county commissioners meeting, which was held on the 10th. Rich, I need to get with you and give you a phone call later on. I need some information, but start out. The commissioners are looking for help on, and this is from Mike Tilley, the medical services office from Whatcom County. They're looking for a big push for the 2022 EMS levy. And they're looking for any commissioners that are willing to help or want to know more about that process. Please contact Mike. They're going to do a big push this year to get that moving along. One of the things that came up in the meeting was North Whatcom reports. Apparently, the state looks for reports from all the regions, and we're in region 5, I believe. And basically all the North County fire districts, cities, what have you, are supposed to get together a couple times a year and sit down and basically just share information and talk. And that gets put into a report. That report goes to the head president of Whatcom County, and then he gives those reports to the state. This is supposed to happen a couple times a year, and it hasn't since one of our previous commissioners for District 4 left. They haven't got a North County report. Rich, I think you probably know what I'm talking about, but I've been asked to start that back up and get a North County report, which would include Ferndale and Linden. So once this COVID thing kind of settles down, what they recommend is a couple of commissioners from each district and the chiefs all sit down and, like I said, talk, have pizza, whatever. I did speak with our chief about it, and Jason stated that we have very good relationships with the outlining chief, so it shouldn't be a problem once the COVID kind of breaks and we can kind of sit down and conjure up something. And I know that Rich, you've had some talks with Ferndale in the past, so just trying to get some information from you of who to talk to once all this settles down. So I will forward those minutes from that meeting as soon as I get them. It usually takes about a week or so. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask.
So is it your recommendation that we wait until the governor lifts the meeting restrictions so we can meet in person?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. Once, we're supposed to open up the phase 3 here in a week or so. And I don't know how that looks as far as all sitting in the same room. But the East County has been having these meetings, and they just had one recently, which is District 14, District 1, District 16, and District 19. District 19 has a new fire chief, Ben Thompson, who was the fire chief for 35, 40 years out there, is hanging it up. So they have a new fire chief. So they had a pretty good meeting where they sat down, had pizza, sat in the same room, talked about their ideas of what they wanted to do and things like that. So I'm just going to kind of take note of that and think that we can do something similar too.
Okay, well, if everyone's okay with that, we'll just kind of wait for message from you to say it's time to get together, and then maybe Jenny and Jason or whatever can help us coordinate a meeting.
Sure, sounds good.
That work for everybody?
Yep.
There used to be a time where we could all just get together and talk.
Maybe next month, huh?
Would be nice. It would be nice. Any other commissioner meeting reports? We've got the RFA under unfinished business. So
real quick, Bruce, while I'm still here, the 911 board meeting is going to happen April 1st. So that's kind of where we're at with that. It got pushed out to that date. So I should have some information next month on that.
April 1st, you know what time that is? Because we have an RFA meeting on April 1st.
It's at 1 in the afternoon, right? I've got a meeting
perfect.
in the afternoon.
You can just be in meetings all day. All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, the local 106 report, the local itself doesn't have any report. The chief and I met with the local representatives on March 15th to just sort of get, for me anyway, because I haven't actually got to sit face to face or see face to face with their new reps, Chris Hollander and Scott Brown. I thought that it was a very positive meeting. I think we are continuing our open dialogue and relationship with the local, and they seem to be very supportive of everything we're currently doing and appreciative of Chief Vanderveen and the job he's doing, and how it's been reflected in the morale of the personnel. So it was a good meeting. It was good to meet them, and look forward to them supporting us in the RFA process. No legal issues to my knowledge at this point. Unfinished business, the RFA Planning Committee. We talked about this in the committee about splitting costs. I guess we didn't actually have a formal motion to that fact. I think it's been an understanding, and it's been how we've been working. There were a couple of new issues that arose as far as getting ready for the ballot measure and the costs associated with that. And at the meeting, it was discussed and agreed by the planning committee to go ahead and continue to split those costs. So Jason, did District 4 pass a motion, or did they?
They did not. They were just, it was brought up as a point of concern just because the number of, like, when it comes to like physical mailers, sending out a notice to every household, that there's a discrepancy. We have far more voters than they do, and should that be handled on the district or by each district based on their size of their district? There was a counterpoint to that brought up by one of the District 4 commissioners that probably nowhere it's more important that the word get out in District 4 because their lid lift is going to be potentially bigger than the one in 21. So I think it got left more for you, myself, and Commissioner Hansen to sort out on the side, and that there would be more of a discussion about it at next month's meeting. So that was just the two considerations. Just because of the size, we have 30,000 voters. They have, 30, they have less than 10. Is it quote unquote fair for them to be paying for half of a physical mailer?
All right. So any direction that our board would like to have the planning committee move forward with? I personally believe that when we started this in good faith, we agreed to split the costs. And I would be in favor of a direction to say at the planning committee, our board maintains that we had a general person's agreement to do that. Does that sound fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, everybody in favor with that idea that we take it back in the planning committee phase and say that our board is under the understanding that we were going to split the costs for the RFA.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we sat and had those recorded, and it was kind of understood then. So I know that we're going to be doing motions and stuff, but yeah, that's fine. I mean, that was the understanding, and I think it's still the understanding. So.
Okay, all in favor of that?
All right.
Okay, it's unanimous. We'll take that message back to the RFA Planning Committee. Assistant Chief Process. I believe we have a policy and procedure. So Chief, do you want to just give us an update on where we're at?
Yeah, we have a flyer, multi-page flyer, kind of advertising the district and why everybody should want to come work here, as well as later on in this meeting, you've got a policy or a job description for assistant chief that's been modified to best fit the organization moving forward. That's presented for your review and approval, or been presented. It's been put out there for your review and hopefully approval today. And yeah, we're ready to advertise starting tomorrow. And that's actually on our calendars to put it out there tomorrow. Have it open for.
We have a projected closing date for applications.
Yep, I'd have to get up and
That's all right.
April 30th.
Okay.
So, and that's to both inside and outside candidates.
Sure.
And yeah, if we can keep the succession planning inside, I think that would be great. And I know we've got some qualified candidates inside, so I'm looking forward to seeing some applications with names that we all recognize.
So that's about a 6-week window, okay?
Yes, sir.
If we start tomorrow.
Yep.
Someone comment?
Yeah, I know there was just some wordsmithing in there, but do we know why directing fire control and command was struck from that job description?
Hopefully with the advent of BCs in the RFA plan, it's just offering higher level supervision as opposed to getting down into the nitty gritty of company level operations.
Okay.
We can talk about details during the policy and procedure section if we want to review
Absolutely.
that. All right. So we'll table that until policies and procedures. Facilities is our next unfinished business. Where are we at on that process?
Well, honestly, we've been kind of bogged down with one of the big vouchers you just approved was you saw for $390,000 for aid cars. We're finally getting some new aid cars. So we've been in the final process of getting those. Chief Ward was out of town in Florida doing the final inspection on those for about a week. And with RFA planning, as we're getting closer to the, as Karen likes to call it, the end of the runway, I've been kind of hyper into RFA stuff. And facilities hasn't taken a back door. It's just kind of on pause, I guess I would say. I think I reported last month, we've had some electrical upgrades at Station 63. If you drive by that at night, you'll see that it looks much different. All the pathways are lit. We don't have to worry about people tripping over curbs. And Station 72 has had a few lighting upgrades as well, just to make it more safer for the staff when they're coming in before the sun is up. Next on the docket is Station 62 out there at Semiamu. We've got some moderately significant things we need to hit on that list, and the next piece is to get a contractor out there that can kind of do a multi-item punch list for us at 62.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Just under new business, I don't know if all of you have filed your public disclosure. F1, I think, is the form. If you haven't, the deadline is April 15th. Show of hands, who's done it, who hasn't done it? Anyone done it besides me? Rich, John, Scott, you still have to do it?
I still have to do it, yeah.
And Kimberly, the first time through is kind of painful, but they have actually redone their website. I thought it was very simple this year. Last time it seemed like I almost had to start over every page, and now you can just sort of click yes to everything hasn't changed. So, but that needs to be done as part of your elected official responsibility.
I've started it. I just haven't finished it yet.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, policies and procedures. You have in your packet a assistant chief revised policy, and I reviewed it. I believe Attorney Richard Davis has reviewed it. The chief proposed it mainly because he was kind of morphing this position into kind of a dual training operations, position, and not making it the historical, just an operations assistant chief. So is there any other specific highlights that you would like to add? Obviously you had an opportunity to review this, and John, do you know where that section was that you were citing about? Was it duties or?
Oh, let me find it here.
In the general description 1.0, second to last sentence. And what the goal was with this strike was that it like I said, it offers higher level, or it gives higher level supervision. I didn't want to see the assistant chief directing company level fire suppression and emergency medical care efforts. I want them to, it's my thought that they be better utilized overall incident command, that kind of thing, looking at the overall incident as opposed to worried about what a single hand line is doing. One of the things I've noticed during my time with the district is that there's, I'll call it micromanagement, where we take away a lot of our officers' abilities to use the talents they have, and we press down on them. And I think that we've got people that are ready to grow. They're mature, and they know to make these decisions. They just need to be allowed to do it. And I think this just gives the assistant chief, it lets them know that yes, they are the assistant chief. They could be the on-scene incident commander. They could be the overall commander of something like the railway incident that we just had in December. But let's let the company officers or the battalion chiefs do their job. And we at the chief level come up with the concept of operations, and we allow our working supervisors, our company officers and our battalion chiefs to actually come up with the tactics we use to deal with incidents as they come up. That was the reason for the strike.
So we're not specifically stripping him of the potential to be in charge at a big scene. We just didn't want that to be sort of the day-to-day responsibility.
Correct.
So does that make sense, John?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just questioning why it was taken out. So that's
I mean, I don't think we're eliminating it per se. I think everyone in the industry understands that title in itself carries that responsibility. So, I could see leaving it in with the understanding of what the purpose is, but I don't know that this strips him of his ability to be a chief officer at a large incident. If that's
I'm looking for where that actually is. It does specifically point out
I guess, Mario,
as the assistant chief for all fire district emergency operations, non-emergency. So it's 5.2.1.
thank you.
I guess what I like about that staying in there is that it gives the battalion chief not just the position, but the authority to make those decisions without being micromanaged. So I'd like it taken out myself.
Yeah, 5.2.3 also says responds to major incidents when requested and may assume command of the incident when appropriate. So we're covered. All right, so with all those strikes and edits and blues and reds and stuff, anyone else have any comments or questions for the chief about the new policy? Or the revised policy, I should say. Okay. Normally, we only have to sign it now if it involves financial concerns, but you're asking that we approve this, Chief?
Yes, sir. Just because it's tied to, I mean, obviously it's a District 21 function today, but it's tied to the hopeful passage of the RFA, and I just wanted you to see that there's some planning, some future planning going on for the operation. We're not just talking about.
All right. So, is there a motion to approve policy number 0400.002.02, assistant chief?
I didn't get that policy number. Can you say that again?
I'll text it to you.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, Chief. That was a lot of straight throughs and additions to get that cleaned up. Policy for shift lieutenant is in here as well. Do you want to walk us through what's going on here?
So shift lieutenant is before you because it hasn't been touched. If you look, it hasn't been touched since 2007. So we're going on a decade and a half of not updating our job description for our lieutenants. We are currently in the promotional process for lieutenant captain and training captain, and we've noticed some discrepancies. There are classes outlined in this job description that must be taken before you can be promoted that haven't been offered in 6 years. Not just by the district, but by the National Fire Academy haven't been offered in 6 years. So we're putting, we're asking our people to do things that are impossible, which leads to, people asking for, it gives, and I don't have the ability to waive anything in this job description. And that's by design, because they wanted, the original intent was that the lieutenants must do this to become a company officer, to become a commissioned officer. And as they rise through the officer ranks, then they can kind of subspecialize, take different classes, and it gives the chief the ability to waive things at the higher ranks. But they wanted the lieutenants to have absolutely a minimum level of education, training, and experience when they came into the position. So what we did was we did clean up some things in the essential duties and responsibilities section. We took out things that either don't exist anymore, that are the handled by one person, like the SCBA equipment and maintenance. We don't, every lieutenant doesn't do that, so we don't need it in everybody's job description. Same with district safety meetings. This was written when it was a one station department. So you have to remember now we have multiple stations, multiple shifts. So we cleaned all that up. And then the biggest piece of cleanup is if you get to section 6, minimum qualifications, we added things or changed things to make it more, to make it relevant to today, and classes that are offered today. And that's what you're seeing, is that we're not lowering the standards. We altered them so that they're achievable. The best example I have of that is prior to 2015, there was some of you that are in the fire service may know there was a National Fire Academy Leadership 1, 2, and 3 class that almost everybody took. Well, that's the class that hasn't been offered since 2015. And having been on the executive board of the union, I know that when it says leadership, prior to this revision, it said you needed additional training in leadership. And that's what it meant was leadership 1, 2, and 3. But people can't meet that anymore. So we've updated it for today to a National Fire Academy approved leadership course. And NFA or IFSAC safety officer, we went through and looked at what do our people have and what can they get today. And we also added, you'll see 6.6, which memorializes today how classes are done. They're not just all done. Before classes were done, you had to have a physical attendance. Well, with COVID, it's shut all that down. So now we've got online, we've got hybrid courses, we've got physical, your course where you're physically present for it. So we wanted to update it so it's relevant today. That's really all we've done here. And then we also, beneath this, we moved things around to better break it up so that there was a lot of weird or odd groupings of requirements. You had to be able to lift 50 pounds sometimes, lift 170, or lift 50 pounds all the time, 175 sometimes, and see, hear, and taste. So we've got physical requirements along with sensory requirements. So we just broke them apart and made it simpler. And that's what's before you today.
That last page of that, page 9, Chief?
Yes.
What is this used for?
This is something that's been in all the job descriptions since the beginning. and I am honestly not quite certain what it's there for. We just updated it to say that, it seems like it's just it kind of outlines the chain of command, and then it's like a synopsis of the position.
So it's kind of, I have read the district policy and understand it and agree that I will follow it, sort of thing, and then
Right.
it goes in the file.
Yep. Who my supervisor is, that I'm not exempt, that this is what I understand that I am, and that we're, I don't know if this middle section, special conditions of employment, is necessarily like a waiver of the ADA requirements, but it's pointing out that this job has specific things that might exclude someone from that type of situation.
Is this really needed anymore?
I don't know. As I'm talking here, I'm thinking maybe I need to send this last page to Richard Davis.
Probably be worth his eyeball on
Yep.
it, so I guess the next $1 million question is this going to create any havoc with the personnel, or has labor had their eyes on this, or are they going to have any issues with it?
The labor, it's been sent to Scott Brown and Chris Hollander, the new labor representatives. They gave me a thumbs up, or it looks good. I did, because of the difficulties of hammering out, I'm trying to say this the right way. The current job description, not the one you're looking at here, but the prior to this one, made the qualifications very muddy, and it made it very difficult. And so I placed the lieutenant's promotional examination on hold until I could get this job description looked at and rewritten. I did not change the core of the job description. You can still see the requirements are basically the same. They're better spelled out. And what I'm going to do is, if this gets approved, I'm going to repost for the position of lieutenant. The captains and training captain position are going to proceed as scheduled. We have a retirement coming up in late June where I need a captain. We're going to need to promote a captain, and the training captain position has been vacant for a year. We're well past our time to fill that position. I won't need lieutenants until those promotions are made. So I want to take the time. I want to do this once. I want to do it right. And I sent out a letter. I sent a letter to all the candidates that said, it's my responsibility. This wasn't looked at prior to the posting for the original test. And I take responsibility for that. What I can't have as the chief is any commissioned officers that were ever promoted under a suspicion or whispers by their peers or subordinates that they weren't 100% qualified or were allowed to proceed through a process with question. The number one thing for us is public trust. And if I need to know that my officers are confident and they deserve clear required job requirements and clarity in the job description, and I didn't provide that for them. So I put a stop on the process until I can get clarity. And we need to make things clear and attainable for our candidates. And that's why I put a pause on the lieutenant's promotion. And that's, I'm sure that individuals have their opinions on whether I did the right thing or the wrong thing, but the feedback I've got is that we're doing the right thing here, and setting our lieutenants up for success, or our future lieutenants up for success.
All right, very good. So we have this revised policy before us. It is number 0400.0 00006.03, fire district shift lieutenant. Is there a motion to approve this policy?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion, or we've suggested to the chief that he look at page 9 and have Attorney Richard Davis get his eyes on it and see if it fits what we're doing. Again, I think it's just from a 10,000 foot level. It looks like it's just that the individual, when they accept that position, they sign that document that says they will follow those. I don't ever recall having to sign one of those in my career, but we'll see what he has to say about it. If it's a policy and procedure, they should sort of be expected to know it and follow it as part of what our normal operations are. So maybe that's a holdover from 14 years ago as well. So, but all right, anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Correspondence. We've had a couple of letters. Chief, do you want to talk about Lieutenant Hofstede's letter here?
Sure. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to hand this to him as he and I cross paths. That's all right. He knows it's coming. I talked to him on the phone.
All right.
Lieutenant Hofstede arranged, kind of dreamed up, arranged, did all the logistics and pulled off a fire officer 1 and 2 and a operations county operations class for our aspiring company officers. By all accounts, it's been long overdue for the district to provide that kind of training to its people. And it was very well done. It was very well coordinated. It really went off without a hitch. And I just wanted to thank him for his efforts. He's brought a lot of excitement back to the folks on the floor and training. And it was just really good to see. I mean, we had gosh, probably overall we had 20 different people taking classes at one time or another. And that's great. That means people are engaged and they're looking to move up and move forward. So it was I just wanted to thank him for his time. We're also putting a little blurb about that in the newsletter, so that people can see that your firefighters are training and working on leadership and strategy and tactics. So that's what that letter is.
Very good, and certainly pass on our appreciation to Lieutenant Hofstede for his work on behalf of the district. I think since you've become chief, we've certainly turned this thing around to where people are excited about their jobs and about learning their craft and stepping up and helping. I know there was a time where everybody was taking one step backwards when you asked for volunteers, and now it seems like on multiple occasions when you ask people to help out, they're clamoring to do so, and I credit you with that leadership and direction that they feel confident and willing to follow. So much appreciated on behalf of the board to you, Chief.
Thank you. Well, it's them putting the actual effort forward, and that's what counts. We've turned the corner from being voluntold to actually people volunteering, right? That's a good thing.
Voluntold. I've heard that one before.
It's a Marine Corpsism. Okay.
Yeah, I understood. All right. Next board meeting is the 15th of April. Is that going to work for people?
Isn't that tax day?
No, they extended it another month.
I was going to say, I think they pushed it back.
We good on that?
Yep.
Yeah,
All right. So we have a candidate filing announcement, May 17 through 21. That would be Commissioner McMurray and Commissioner Crawford, if you so choose to file for the election. And I think that is 18, 19, 20, 21. That's just a short window, isn't it? May. Yeah, the week of the 17th is the candidate filing time. That's new news to me. So any questions, probably need to contact Jenny and get the gory details on that. Commissioner McMurray, since you were appointed, you have to run for election. And Commissioner Crawford, man, have you been a commissioner for 6 years now? Going on?
You've been sitting there right alongside of me. Yeah.
I thought I was the new guy. All right. You've been warned. Agenda items for next meeting, with the City of Blaine Fire partial interlocal agreement that just seems to stay on forever. I'm assuming Jenny's back there somewhere. We've got the RFA Planning Committee update. I don't know, Chief, you want to leave facilities on here? Is that an ongoing thing?
Yep. Yeah, I think a monthly report would be good.
Yeah, we may have to approve a bid or something like that as well, depending on the amount for that. I guess, yeah, an update on the assistant chief process, where we are on that. Anything else that anyone can think of? All right, executive session. We need to have an executive session, and I expect this is going to go on for at least a half an hour, if not longer. So I am going to adjourn into executive session for 30 minutes. It's 1:43 p.m. And we'll, if we need longer, we'll reconvene. I do not believe there will be any action. Rich, there won't be any action after the executive session. So for those of you who are waiting with bated breath for 30 minutes or longer to hear what we have to say when we come out of executive session, we will adjourn the meeting. But until then, we're going to sign off and convene in executive session, and everyone here is invited.
Can we take 5 minutes?
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and stop the